And Friday, what a loaded card in the NBA here tonight. Some absolute big matchups here to start 2024. We only had two games last night. They were actually a lot closer than people thought they might have been. But tonight, we got quite the menu on tap. And we're going to break down a few of these games, come up with a couple of dogs, a few best bets, and we'll do it with the Friday crew in the house. Ski Profit ready to roll here tonight in the association. Double R1L. Steve Merrill in the house, as is Mr. Teddy Covers, ready to roll on this Friday here. All right, first weekend of the new year. And Skee, no better place to wipe the slate clean with the contrarian gods than right now, as a matter of fact. And the contrarian gods, fickle group here, but they're going to take a look here at the Brooklyn Nets to start the year off. 5.5. I think it's actually down to 5 right now. Taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, one team's good, one team has not been good. And the Nets have not been good here, which would explain the ticket count on Oklahoma City. But they are home, Brooklyn, here, getting 5.5. What are you thinking in this one?
What the first thought that comes to my mind is the line seems a little bit short for how we've seen OKC play lately and how we've seen Brooklyn play. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw Brooklyn cover a point spread, and they played very disinterested basketball in the last couple contests. So when I think about all that and I see a 5.5 out there, it does make me concerned. It's a red flag for me. Maybe this is the game that they come and give effort. And I did talk to my guy Ravino earlier. He gave some quotes, I believe, for this net side. So I don't want to step in front of it. It does seem like it's a little bit too easy for OKC. They cover 5 out of their last 6 games. They don't, take their foot off the gas when they play lesser competition. They're 7-2 versus less than 45% winning teams this season. But they get Lonnie Walker back today. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be back out there. I think the Nets getting as healthy as they've been in a while. I think they can turn it around at the house. So I'll lean with them. Not going to be a play for me, but for the show, Nets is my go-to.
Makes sense. I mean, it's starting to come down. 5 starting to pop up here. And Skee mentioned it. Lonnie Walker back finally after that hamstring here. Dennis Smith Jr. No better way to start the year off if you're Brooklyn than at home and being a big underdog here. Merrill, what do you think?
I don't know if we could say it's really contrarian, though, if the line's dropping, right? And, I love to fade the public, but I think it works better in high-profile things like the NCAA tournament, the NFL regular season. Right now, I still don't know how much public action is really dictating these lines. So it looks like maybe a little bit of sharp money on Brooklyn as the home dog, but I don't agree with the move. I like OKC -5 here. I'm not going to back a team that's struggling. It's they're 2-10 straight up their last 12. And maybe they turn the corner at some point, but I need to see it first. This is a team that's lost 5 in a row straight up, but more importantly, they've lost 6 in a row now against the spread. So I haven't seen that the corner turn yet. Maybe it does tonight, but I think this isn't a good spot for them. OKC had won 5 in a row straight up against the spread, and they had that loss at Atlanta on Wednesday, and I think that'll keep them focused tonight. And they only have Washington on deck, and they have 2 days off until they have to play at Washington. So this looks like a good standalone focus spot off a loss for the better team, and that's OKC.
Be hard-pressed to find anybody in the public running to back Brooklyn against OKC. They seem to have become everyone's darling now, Teddy. It seems that everyone's talking about how they may be the best team in the NBA, yada, yada, yada. What a difference a year makes. How about you make some sense of it here tonight? Would you lay it with OKC, or do you think Brooklyn's got some value here?
So you understand, now that this, like you mentioned it, Joe, this is when people are suddenly taking notice to Oklahoma City. Yeah. If you've been paying attention, last year at this time was the time to pay attention to Oklahoma City, and all you've done is make money with them for the last year. But now people finally are saying, oh, let's pay attention to this team. And obviously, there's a value problem with the OKC Thunder right now, at least a modest one. That being said, I don't think I've gone against the contrarian play at any point this year. I can't go on the Nets right now. I just can't do it. All right, Brooklyn has played. Let's be real. Brooklyn wildly overachieved through the first 20, 25 games of the season, and they come back to earth with a thud. And I'm not convinced the markets have caught up with how bad they actually are right now. The Nets this a lottery team. They're not a playoff team. Their shooters are ice cold, and that's all they have is a bunch of shooters. So if their shooters are cold, it makes for a long stretch for Brooklyn. Yeah, OKC or pass for me. Not a game that I'm playing, but it's not a game that I would recommend the contrarian side.
They got only 2 back-to-back losses all season long for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So coming off of that loss, they've done a really good job of bouncing back here. So should be an interesting spot here tonight. 7:30 is the tip on that one, but we got another game at 7:30. That is our featured matchup. And boy, this should be a good one, huh? How about the new look Knicks taking on the 76ers here tonight in Philadelphia? And it looks like 6 for most of the day is what we're seeing, 233. It seems the total, Skee, more than anything else, is getting love in the market here as this thing is hovering around 233 after opening up around that 226 mark. So what are you thinking here with the Sixers and the Knicks here tonight?
Yeah, I'm glad I got out of that last segment without Switzerland. For this one, I do think the Knicks got a little bit better with that trade, but I'll just look at how both of these teams have been doing in this situation. The Knicks, as a road dog, only 5-8. The Knicks, when they play competition for me is greater than a 55% win team. They're 5-10 ATS. Compared to the Sixers, they've covered 12 out of 15 games as a home favorite. When they win, it's usually by margin. They're fairly healthy right now. I know they haven't beat back in the lineup, both teams on the front of a back-to-back, but the Sixers have the rest advantage here. I just don't see how I could step in front of how dominant they've been at the house. So it'll be Sixers or pass for me from a side perspective. And sadly, I don't have the strongest opinion on the total, but these are 2 teams who are top 10 in three-point percentage, and the Knicks, I think, starting to play with a little bit of pace. So I'll lean over. I think the side is better with the Sixers.
Could it possibly be eventually we're looking at a win-win trade here between Toronto and the Knicks? But time will tell. Certainly look like 2 totally different teams after the trade, that's for sure. Merrill, what are you thinking about this, the Knicks squad, the new look Knicks here, and the Sixers? Well, they welcomed Embiid back last time out, and that worked out pretty well for him. What are you thinking here tonight?
Well, first of all, for my friend Skee Profit, I only carry American flags, so I don't have a Swiss flag, but of course I do carry Swiss Miss.
Oh, there it is.
So, the official product of Switzerland. You open a checking account, you open a Swiss bank account, you get a pack of Swiss Miss. That's why I have so many. Anyway, let's look back at the game here. Yeah, a big trade last week, of course, for New York. It was a 2-for-1, which tells me, I think, by the way, quickly it looked really good. He had a monster game, like 20-some points right before they unloaded them. And I think maybe that's why they got rid of him, because he was looking so good and they figured they could get a little bit more for him at the time. But I think it's a 1 step back, 2 steps forward for the Knicks. And I think that was the first step back. I look for a big move, if not this season, in the offseason. I think they're trying to clear some space to bring in another superstar. I'd get rid of Randall in a heartbeat. I'm not sure who wants him, though. He's having his worst season ever. But Brunson really is a top 10 star in this league, and they need to get somebody else with them if they want to win. I like what Skee said, though, about the total as far as the pace. I think, this might be an opportunity to kind of sneak in now with the Knicks when they're considered an under team still and start playing some overs. And we have seen quite a bit of money coming on the over in this game. In fact, it opened as low as 226 overnight. It's now up to 233. I even see some 233.5. So I think that's a little bit of a sign that the betting markets and some of the sharper money think the over is going to be the way to go with this new look Knicks team. As far as the side, I think it's a tough call. The Knicks came from behind. Nice win against Chicago by 16, a game which they were trailing in the first half. Maybe that was the buy sign with them as well. But I'm going to stay away from the side tonight. I think the total, the over 233, would be the way to play this one.
Yeah, they were near double-digit favorite in that game against the Bulls. That was a hell of a second half play, Teddy. What are you thinking here in this one tonight, though, when the Sixers at home welcoming them in the Knicks? It appears for the most part, health-wise, what you see is what you get, unless we're missing something. What are you thinking?
I don't know why Steve Merrill's throwing shade on Julius Randle, who's played great. Randle's look, his game can make you crazy because he jacks up some bad threes. But when Julius Randle is energized, and he's been energized, the Knicks are a bet on team. One of the things we kind of forget because we pay attention to this every day, and as a handicapper, our energy level we don't have the ebbs and flows necessarily like the players do. But when you're playing an 82 game grind of a regular season, and all of a sudden there's a trade and a couple guys leave and somebody new comes in, there's a burst of energy that comes with that. We've seen both the Knicks and the Raptors take advantage of that little burst of energy from a midseason trade deal. And I think it may carry over here. Knicks have played winning basketball the last two ball games. Philly's not a team I'm going to rush to step in front of. All right. This is a NBA tip-off opinion, not something I'm actually putting my money on. But if I had to play this game, Knicks are bet on right now, plain and simple. For as much as I respect Philadelphia, when you find a team in the doldrum parts of the seasons that get a burst of energy, you can ride those teams, at least for a couple of games. Knickerbockers are pass for me.
Getting a new lease on life there. Some new pieces, new parts, and it looks like so far so good for the New York Knicks, but they'll have their hands full tonight with the Sixers, which means got a couple of more things we got to get to here, whether it be a total we'll focus on in a minute. We do have, of course, a couple of dogs that might be barking on the card, and then three best bets coming your way. But first, happy Friday. Those of you joining us live right now in the chat room, we certainly appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up for us, if you will. And, of course, if you're new and this is the first time you've joined us here, welcome in to the WagerTalk TV family. Hit that subscribe button, as nobody has more daily and weekly content when it comes to the biggest matchups on the card than we do. So check it out and hit that subscribe button and become part of that WagerTalk TV family. All right, we have got a total in our overtime section we're going to focus on, and it's an interesting one because it's when we think of the Washington Wizards, we're usually thinking over no matter what. Nobody's sweating out a Wizards under, especially since they just got blown out by this team a couple nights ago. But the market's not agreeing. I saw it 240 as an open, down to 238, maybe even 237 and a half right now. Skee, you have never been one to want to jump in front of an, hop on an under in a Washington game here, but the market seems to think maybe now's the time to look at an under. What are you thinking?
Yeah, the market can do what they would like to do. I would not be interested in the under in Washington game. You know me very well, Joe. They're the absolute worst defensive rated team the last 5 games. They just played this team, and Cleveland put up 140 points. Even at the slow pace that they're playing, that's just how bad the defense is for Washington. So no way can I bet under 238. I'd have to go over again.
It's a strange move, Steve. It really was. Thought we'd be going the other way, and yet, wow, it's down to 237 and a half after dropping $140 and emptying the bench. So what do you think here? Did Washington did they find some defense over the last 48 hours we missed? What do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't fix really bad D. You also really can't fix really bad offense. It goes both ways. You can't teach somebody to shoot and score overnight either. But Teddy talked about motivation, and that's the key to handicap in the NBA. Like you said, it's an 82-game season. You go through ebbs and flows, and it's more of a situational handicap for me than any sport. I very rarely look at a lot of power ratings and math. I do look at current form, maybe over a 5 or 10 game sample. I'm looking at a little bit more math. So let's look at the last 5 here for Washington. What have they done over their last 5 games? Well, they have stayed under 3 of those 5. Not sure it's really because they're playing good D, though. They've given up 51.5% shooting in those games. They've given up 126.5 points on average. Meanwhile, Cleveland, their last 5, they've stayed under 3 or 5 also. They have played much better defense, less than 110 allowed. So if this game is to stay under, it's going to be because Cleveland gets it done defensively and not Washington. Total has dropped about a basket, like you said, down to 238, even 237.5 now at some of the sharper books. So total I won't be involved with. I'm in no hurry to play Washington games under, but it does look like a little bit of sharp money's on the under in this one.
It's been a hot minute, right? I mean, no Garland, no Mobley, but they haven't really been. They've been out for a little while now here, Teddy. So it's just, was it a little shocking to you? You saw this thing drop, or are you in agreement that maybe the under the second time around is the way to look?
So the Cleveland Cavaliers are coming off a game in which they shot 54% from the floor. They made 23 pointers, and the game went over the total on the last bucket with 6 seconds left. Okay. It's snuck over the total and again, there was a flurry in the last couple of minutes of that game that sent it over the total. All right. So that's what it takes for Cleveland to go over the total. All right. They got to be draining threes and hitting everything. Cleveland plays defense. All right. This is not a defense-less squad. And without Mobley, their defense has been just fine. Washington can't control anything. All right. So we're talking about a game that barely snuck over the total last time. I mean, and I get what Skee's saying. I can't bet Wizards games unders. I get you. Hard for me to bet Cavs games overs. That's not their MO, is to lighten up the scoreboard. And their MO is defense and pace. And when they're draining threes, they can get there. I'm not convinced it happens here. And again, the sharp money's telling you what the right side here is. Under, not over for this one.
All right. Fun fact here about Washington, though. All 6, count them, 6 of their wins this year have followed pretty much double-digit blowout losses. So could this be number 7? Oh, who the hell we kidding? Absolutely not. Let's take a look, Robert, on what do we got for the dogs. Let's see who's jumping on Washington here tonight.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Well, somebody better be taking Jordan Poole over 43 shot attempts. Let's take a look here. Jazz, Hawks, a couple of dogs here. Knicks, the Hornets, the Raptors, Magic, Pistons. There are those Wizards again. Toronto, the Nets, the Pelicans, the Heat, the Blazers, and the Grizz. We got a few games here tonight, which means we got a whole lot of dogs all over the map, Skee. So some little dogs, some big dogs. Which one is barking for you tonight here on the card?
I am going to go with. I'm looking for it. So many games. I'll
Throw
go
a
with-
dart.
it's not
Throw a
the
dart.
biggest dog.
No pressure.
It's not the biggest, not the biggest dog on the board, but I'll go
See
with.
the card for the first time
guess-
tonight.
You call it the second or third biggest dog of the night. I'll go with the Hornets plus 9.5. And it's a few reasons why I like this look. For one, the Bulls have been playing good basketball. Why were they playing good basketball? Because Levine was sitting down. He does not want to be there. He was giving very little energy or effort. And the guys who are getting a chance to go out there have something to play for. They're trying to prove themselves. Now, Levine is back in the lineup after missing I don't know how many games. Vucevic back in the lineup after missing 5 games with a groin injury. And they're both going to be on minutes restriction. But integrating 2 stars, 2 high usage players like that, it's going to mess up the rhythm of how things have been going for Chicago. Then you look for the Hornets. This is a team who lost 3 games in a row on the road, and they finally got a win, and they're on the road again. Like after you win that game, I think you try to finish the road trip strong. I also like playing on bad teams that are coming off of wins because they're just playing good basketball and they'll likely keep it going. I look at how some of the guys from the Hornets have been talking, and this will be Rozier here. He'll say, these past couple games, obviously we fell short, but we did a lot of great things, and that's what Coach kept talking about, just picking up where we left off. We know it's going to turn for us. Maybe this game is going to be the one that turns it around for us. Hopefully we can keep it going. I think the Hornets try to keep that energy going from that last win. I think they're live to win this game outright.
Ooh, I love it. All right, that's a definitely barking here. By the way, they were 5-14 when Levine went out, so they woohoo. Welcome back, Zach. See how well that works for him. Talk to us here, Merrill. A lot of different dogs here. Could be interesting tonight. Which one are you looking at?
Yes, only 4 teams played last night on Thursday, and now 28 teams play tonight. So basically, everybody is rested except for one of them, and that's the Denver Nuggets, who, as you mentioned, Joe, they played that close game last night against Golden State, won by 3, a high-scoring game, 130 to 127. Now they travel back home to the thin air and altitude. I know they're used to it. They're from Denver, but it's one of those rare situations where I think the road team actually has the rest advantage, and they actually have the endurance advantage here too in the thin air. And that's Orlando, who did not play yesterday. And they're finishing a 4-game road trip, and it has not been a good road trip. They're 0-3 straight up. Phoenix, Golden State, Sacramento. They've been a dog in all 3 of those, but they did cover 2 of the 3. In fact, every loss has been by 6 points or less. So even though they're losing, they're playing competitive basketball, and I think that continues. I don't know if they'll necessarily win this game outright, but I do like the Magic plus 9.5, and that's actually the free play I posted on my page as well. So you can go get the analysis right now on my page at WagerTalk.com. Orlando plus 9.5.
Ooh, all right. Orlando, maybe, just maybe you can win a game on the road. That would be great. Thanks. Teddy, let's talk dogs here tonight. I hope you're going the direction I think you're going here, but which one stuck out to you?
Well, let's go out to Phoenix and fade the Suns.
Boom!
You know? I mean, the Suns, I bet they're supposed to be better, and they're supposed to be better, and they're supposed to be better, and they're not better. Coming off a bad loss to the Clippers in their last time out. They're now, 5-6 their last 11 ball games, 2-9 against the spread in their last 11 ball games. And it's worth noting the teams they're beating. Yeah, they beat Portland. They beat Charlotte. They beat the Rockets when the Rockets were on the second of back-to-backs and shorthanded. They beat Washington. They're not beating good teams right now. Phoenix is beating only bottom feeders. Meanwhile, Miami, I get it. They don't have Jimmy Butler. Okay. They've been doing just fine without Jimmy Butler. The Heat are a team, when it comes to injury reports, the markets consistently and repeatedly overreact to Miami injuries, guys who are in or out. We have an elite coaching staff, and we have, I'm going to call the Heat elite depth. There may not be name guys off the bench, but I don't know there's any GM in basketball better than putting a roster together than Pat Riley. Miami plus the points.
Taking it here against against Phoenix rather here tonight as they look to finish up this West Coast trip. That leaves us with best bets here, guys. And like you said, there seems to be everybody seems to be in action here tonight. Some interesting spots. Can't wait to hear what the best bets are. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, that like button, and of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already as we throw 60 seconds on the clock. Give these guys an opportunity to do really whatever the hell they want with it as long as they give us a best bet. So, Skee, you are inbounding the ball here, my friend. You get 60 seconds. Tell us, where are you looking for a best bet tonight?
Well, I don't always do a lot of promo, but I'll do a little bit today just because I have a 5% play. And I've only had 11 going back to March of 2023, and I've won 9 of them. So if you'd like to be involved, you can check it out on my page. For my best bet on the show, I will go to Atlanta and Indiana, and I'll take a look at the Hawks. Specifically in the first half, I think best number you can get is plus 1.5. Last 5 games, they've been a top 5 offensive rated team. They've been a top 5 rebounding team. Why are they playing better? Because they're getting healthier, but they really, a lot relies on Jalen Johnson. When he got out of the lineup, they couldn't cover a spread. He's back in the lineup. They're playing a whole lot better. And something Atlanta has been able to do well consistently is play 24 minutes. Last 10, first half ATS, 8-2. Pacers, a little bit of the opposite, 3-6-1. So I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You get in and get out with Atlanta first half.
Ooh, like the look. All right, Atlanta first half here tonight on the road against Indiana. Well, go ahead, Merrill. Load the clock up. 60 seconds, my man. What is the best bet you pulled out for us here tonight?
Yeah, it's a huge card tonight on Friday, the biggest and best NBA card so far in 2024 with 14 games on the board. I have 3 strong best bets, a bonus free play as well on my page at WagerTalk.com. You might want to pay attention. Number 1 ranked all of 2023 in the NBA. I went 103-63 last year, and I've already started this year off 1-0. So now 104-63 on NBA best bets going back to the start of last year. including 7-0 on totals. That's how few totals I've released. And I've got one going tonight as part of that 3-pack, a rare NBA over-under best bet. So check it out. 3-for-1 special Friday night plus bonus free play. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. An additional free play for you here on the way out. Let's look at the Chicago Bulls minus 9.5. Back home off back-to-back road losses at Philly and New York. They were a dog in both games of 9 and 10 points. Now they face one of the worst teams in the league. Charlotte, 42 games in, have not won back-to-back games all season, and they're coming off a loss after 11 straight losses. A win after 11 straight losses. Chicago minus 9.5 gets back on track tonight.
Ooh, all right. There we go then. Back to Chicago for that one. And Merrill, that leaves us, of course, Teddy Covers to make sense of it all here, Teddy. I'm hoping you go to one particular game here because I thought for sure Skee would deliver on it, but he has not. So talk to me here, Teddy. 60 seconds. Which game are you focused on?
Yeah, if Skee doesn't want to talk about your late night bailout special, I'll go there and talk about the Lakers and the Grizzlies. And look, this game to me has all the makings of a relatively low scoring affair. Ja Morant, he's hurt already. He's dealing with a bad ankle. I don't know if you guys watched LeBron the other night. He didn't attempt a free throw. He scored only 12 points against Miami. Haven't said this very often. LeBron looked old, and he's got an ankle injury of his own. LA hasn't gotten 110 any of their last 3 games. All right. Taylor Jenkins talked a lot about Memphis's defensive improvement in the fourth quarter against Toronto in their last ball game. And he also said, there's a couple possessions I wish you could take back to get us better organized. I wish I would have slowed them down a little bit. That, my friends, is an underquote. We've seen the markets move that way already, but even at 226, 225.5, no hesitation going under with the Grizz and the Lakers. You can get my single best bet at WagerTalk.com right now.
See how easy that was? Outstanding here, guys. Don't forget the ability, while you still can, the opportunity for you to partner up with any one of these guys here. Time is running out. 37 straight days of all access. That's right. All access, all sports, every play. Partner up with either Teddy Covers, Steve Merrill, Skee Profit. You can visit them at WagerTalk.com now. There is no coupon needed, but hop on board. Get 37 straight days of all access. And man, there are plenty of opportunities here on this card. So there you got it, guys. A little something for everyone here tonight as we head into the weekend, the first weekend of 2024. No reason not to make it a profitable one. So make sure you come back and join us again all next week and hit that like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And make plans to join us every Monday through Friday, of course, here on the NBA Tip-Off Show. In fact, if it's big games this weekend, you're looking for breakdowns and previews and best bets on, well, then go ahead and click on that video on your screen right now and get access to all the daily free content we've got featuring all the big games coming up this weekend. On behalf of Skee, Teddy, NRR1L, Steve Merrill, we appreciate it, guys. Best of luck with all your plays this week. We'll talk.